In the headlines, Massac and Maho flat next in line as Domlec continues its post-Maria efforts to light up the country. The infirmary reaches full capacity this Christmas after taking in citizens displaced by Hurricane Maria. And Prime Minister Skerrit calls for a political ceasefire this Christmas. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Dominica Electricity Services Limited has Massac and Maho Flat on its agenda to continue its post-Hurricane Maria re-energizing efforts.
In a recently released update, Domlec noted that works were ongoing at Tatan and Savonpai in the north, while at least one circuit was energized in Yampis, Upper Goodwill, Mont Daniel, Castle Comfort, Lower Emsall, Canefield Flat, Trafalgar, Kingshill and Forkani. Also in the north, Chance has been energized. Domlec's distribution feeder for the east at Sugarloaf has been energized up to Blenheim. The first set of streetlights were turned on in Paybush on December 14. Domlec has stressed the need for people to recertify with the electrical division before their home is energized.
Domlec is following with the electrical division. The mandate is from the electrical division that everybody must be recertified. And during our reconnection and the restoration process, some persons, their service lead, which is a line coming from the pole to their home, was not damaged. And so once we energized the area, they automatically got power. We are still asking those persons, those customers, business and domestic, that they must bring us that certificate. Even if you're connected, we must have that certificate to ensure that your property is fit for electricity.
In other top stories, Dominicans were treated to a Christmas special on Thursday as various stakeholders joined forces to host the first ever Christmas Traditions concert. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Karim Prevost, says the hosting of this event shows the resilience of the Dominican people in the wake of Hurricane Maria.
Maria took a lot away from us, but Maria did not take away our resolve and our resilience. And over the last few months, we have been around the island working very hard to clean, to clear debris, to rebuild, and to get Dominica back to a state of normalcy. Maria attempted to interfere or interrupt our independence celebrations and our traditional Creole season. However, the Discover Dominica Authority, the Dominica Festivals Commission, and also the Ministry of Tourism sought to bring some light into the Christmas season and to ensure that our spirits are not dampened and that we can still embrace our traditions during this Christmas season.
Patrons indulged in the musical talent of groups and individuals such as Bana Kayo, Cicero Singers, Julian Rivera, C Squared, Phase 5 Steel Band, and the long-serving Music Lovers Government Band. Here is a sample of the Christmas music that locals and visitors were treated to on Thursday night. In other news, a message of hope and love is what the Dominica Freedom Party is encouraging Dominicans to embrace this Christmas season. Political leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, Kent Vital, in his Christmas message to the nation, highlighted that unity and love are needed among the people to work in the best interests of the nation.
We all want Dominicans at home and abroad to know that we care. We care about the well-being of our fellow citizens. That is why we in the Dominica Freedom Party do what we are doing. We have been sharing a message of love and hope. We want all to share in the gift of love that the Heavenly Father has bestowed on all humanity. Let us all as Dominicans allow that gift to so grip our hearts that we in turn would share that love with others. Not only at this time of year when we celebrate goodwill on earth, but also throughout 2018 and the coming years as we seek to shape our common destiny. We urge all to work for our common best interests, because that is what love does. We do have a long way to go to create a nation that is prosperous, equitable, safe, peaceful, tranquil, and attractive to our young people. But our best chance of getting there will be when we all decide to do the right thing no matter what.
Vital says the DFP is committed to nation building and working with all Dominicans to help move the country forward in the coming year.
We offer ourselves to serve all Dominicans equitably, irrespective of their political or religious affiliations. We'll continue to embrace the diaspora and deepen our dialogue with them as we seek to garner the best ideas for nation building. We continue to commit ourselves to being a political party that Dominicans can trust. We are assembling a capable team that understands what it takes to move our country forward. One that is not self-serving, and one that is willing to demonstrate the kinds of behaviors and attitudes that we need to embrace as a nation as we seek to create a society that is kind and caring. As we come to the close of 2017, the Dominica Freedom Party wishes all Dominicans, both those at home and those abroad, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Even if the passage of Hurricane Maria in September of this year severely affected our lives, let us still be thankful for the opportunity to reshape our path. We truly believe that with love in our hearts, we can create an amazing nation. Let us have that hope.
The country's oldest institution, which provides care for the less fortunate, destitute elderly in society, has reached full capacity. The Roseau location of the Dominica Infirmary was constructed in the 1980s and suffered no structural damage from Hurricane Maria. The maximum number of residents which can be housed at the institution is 96. Director of the Dominica Infirmary, Annie St. Luce, explained that shortly before the hurricane, people were welcome to seek refuge at the institution. However, due to the widespread damage to the country's housing stock, some individuals may now become permanent residents.
In terms of the number of residents, we did have an increase. Dominica Infirmary is a hurricane shelter. So for a certain number of elderly people living in the Roseau environment. So whenever there's a storm or hurricane warning, we have a list of people who are taken in. So on Monday, which the 18th, the day of the hurricane, we had people who came in, to shelter the storm. Unfortunately, they all lost their homes, and some of them they were able to recover and take back. I think 2 of them. The others are still here. Even from yesterday, having a conversation with the relative of one of them, I'm going to have a meeting with him and suggest that he registers as a permanent resident, because we cannot foresee that house even being repaired, or even the type of access that he needs, because he is wheelchair bound. The type of access that he would require to get to his home, I cannot see that being done in the near future. It's going to be difficult because the mindset that they had coming in was that this was temporary. Yeah, and then now we're going to have to say to them, you may have to consider becoming a permanent resident.
Following the hurricane, there were concerns for the well-being of the elderly at various institutions around the island. The director says that while there were 4 deaths at the infirmary post-Maria, none were as a direct result of the hurricane. Regardless of this, there continues to be a difficulty with space for potential residents.
We had a few deaths post-Maria, but they were not related to Maria. The people who passed were already terminally in prior to the hurricane, and we were kind of expecting that they would leave us. And so none of the deaths at the infirmary up to now have not been related to stress of the hurricane and so on. The sad thing is that space is made available whenever somebody passes on. And it's not the best way to say it, but that's how it is. And we are always limited when it comes to space, especially for men. And so the little space that we had for males prior to the hurricane, we have these spaces have been occupied by people who came in to shelter the storm. We had some ladies died, but then we took in some ladies after the storm. So it's a bit tight here now. Hoping that some of them who did come in to shelter the storm, if the relatives, or when the relatives do repair their homes and they return to their homes, then those slots become available for potential residents. We do have a high demand. As you can well imagine, a number of people have lost their homes. Some people lived with family members or other people who had to migrate or who need to migrate. And so we have a number of cases where we have elderly people who are in situations that they should not be in. And it's heartbreaking.
And though it will be Christmas with a difference this year, management is determined to bring Christmas cheer to its residents. Staff, residents and relatives had participated in an event called Carol Night earlier this week.
Of course, like everybody else, we were in recovery mode. We are no longer in recovery mode at the Dominican Infirmary. We are basically running as we normally would, barring the fact that some of the food items and so that we would really want to give our residents, like fish and so, is not readily available, but we are out of that recovery mode. And we've decided that we need to have some Christmas cheer. And if you look around, you would notice we are decorated to the T's. Right? There's probably a Christmas tree on every ward, around every corner at the infirmary. We're going to sing some carols, country style, probably some reggae style Christmas carols, have some ham and some sorrel and ginger beer, and just spend some time with the residents. It is going to be similar to a family night kind of activity.
Currently, there are 7 wards at the Dominica Infirmary, 3 male and 4 female wards. Prime Minister Skerrit has called for a political ceasefire this Christmas season, telling Dominicans to reach out to their neighbors despite their political persuasions. Mr. Skerrit delivered his Christmas message during a live radio interview at DBS Studios on Friday.
We have had a rough 2017. No one knows what awaits in 2018. But Christmas this year must find us as one loving, caring, and sharing people. This is no place in Christmas 2017 for race, creed, gender, or political persuasion. I want to call a halt today to all these considerations. I want a political ceasefire in Dominica this Christmas. It doesn't matter whether your neighbor is red, blue, green, or pink. Reach out to them and spread the spirit of Christmas.
The head of government has told the citizenry that Hurricane Maria should have taught us to be more humble.
Let us look next door. Let us gaze across the street. Let us reflect on the colleague who lost a loved one on September 18th. Let us think about the relative or friend who lost a house and is still housed in a shelter. Let us think of the senior citizen who is living all alone. Did their barrel arrive? Did they get a hamper? Have they had the energy to go collect their pension or government subsidy? Will they have a hot meal on Monday, today and tomorrow? As you shop for your children, buy an extra gift for Child X in the community. You may not now know who Child X is, but trust me, by Monday evening, you will. When you cook on Sunday night or Monday morning, cook a little extra. Be in a position to have something extra just in case.
And as we wrap up our last newscast ahead of Christmas, we focus on how 2 senior citizens have given years of their life contributing to a charitable organization. Idona John Baptist has that story.
For Angela Dewhurst, volunteering her time and resources to the Grotto Home for the Homeless for the past 17 years comes easy. Reflecting on her younger days, she says it was always a pleasure to help people who were in need.
Just the love of people. The love of people have always been like that. Even as a young girl going to school, and I would have country friends coming down from the country. I would bring them home to have a meal with me, and then for them to take their trucks in those days to go back up to the country. So it has always been in me.
And let me add, as I hinted earlier, well supported by her husband and even her children.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell you, that has been wonderful, that family effort.
She has even roped her husband and children in to help her charitable mission. Following Hurricane Maria, she played an instrumental managerial role in responding to the home's compromised building.
Staff and residents alike, because I got them to fix the entire place. We went over to the lodge. They were
got
there.
Permission for them, some of them, to be able to stay right
all
after.
the rain with the help of the police, and they were there with us. Those who had to go to the river every day to wash clothes. That was a tremendous task for them.
As a founding member of the Home for the Homeless, Parry Bellot has seen the institution through its successes and failures for 29 years.
I am proud to say I was a founding member of this organization in 1988. I remember when a few of us had this idea, and incidentally I got involved because at the time I was president of the Dominica Mental Health Association, and a nurse, a British nurse, said there was a need for some kind of halfway house and so on. So she picked out some people, a lot of medical people and myself and so on.
It was the professional attitude of the British nurse which pushed Bellot to be more interested in offering a hand in the establishment of the home.
And you know what impressed me? Because there's a lesson there. For about a year and a half, we made no progress in terms of getting a site or building. But we had meetings like every month, and the nurse, the lady, a British lady, she was one of these volunteer groups, always had records of the minutes, what decisions taken, and what's still to be done, and so on. And maybe that's where my thing with productivity started to bring. I said, but that's an organized lady. And I don't mind coming to meetings because we're not wasting time. It's going to take a while to get a building we can afford or to raise funds, to get and so on. But she was well organized. At the time there was another British guy, he's married to a local girl now, who was, I think, chairman. People like Rupert Lance and a lot of people have come through the board, at times.
To end the news, the headlines again. Masak and Maho flat next in line as Domlec continues its post-Maria efforts to light up the country. The infirmary reaches full capacity this Christmas after taking in citizens displaced by Hurricane Maria. And the Prime Minister's spirit calls for a political ceasefire this Christmas. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Christmas.